Johannesburg, South Africa. In a dramatic turn of events that has left shockwaves running through the country, Patriotic Alliance leader Gayton McKenzie, who is never one to shy away from controversy, made a revelation that caught everyone off guard. Neither political observers nor his supporters nor even his most vocal opponents. It was an event that played out like a script from a political thriller, and South Africans are yet to recover from the aftermath. Speaking in front of a crowded media briefing in Johannesburg, McKenzie started his speech as the public had grown to anticipate him incendiary, unvarnished, and full of the kind of scathing critiques of corruption and empty deals that have been his political signature for so long. He discussed lifting the poor out of poverty, addressing inequality, and calling out the hubris of the powerful. The cameras kept rolling. Reporters jotted down notes and nothing appeared unuttered until halfway through the mood in the room changed utterly. His voice became more intense as he spoke words that left the whole nation ago. I am formally resigning from party politics to embark on a national anti-corruption campaign that will hold all leaders to account, beginning with the ANC and its president, he announced. There was a moment of silence before murmuring spread throughout the crowd. Reporters stared at each other in amazement as McKenzie continued, his voice unyielding and firm. From today on, I am investing my life, my time, and my means in taking down the corrupt political elite. Not just talking, but acting. The news came as a political earthquake. McKenzie had for years been regarded as a firebrand, a man who would not hesitate to express himself, but also one who the critics wrote off as opportunistic. But this was different. This was not the call of another campaign speech or election maneuver. It was the call to war against the political establishment. And the bombshell did not stop there. McKenzie disclosed that he had prepared a huge dossier purportedly in the expose of pervasive corruption involving leading figures in several parties. ANC senior officials, EFF members, and even some DA leaders were implicated. It was reported the evidence was incriminating. He said, and he intended to present it not just to South African authorities, but also to global watchdogs and investigative organs. What I have will make the Zondo Commission seem like a warm-up act, he announced, causing gaps in the room. The Zondo Commission, which had long monopolized headlines with its revelations of state capture, now seemed almost tame compared to what McKenzie was threatening. Political insiders were swift to respond, with some calling his action outright political suicide. Stepping away from party politics meant surrendering the very platform he had used to build influence. Yet others suggested this could mark the birth of a new revolution in South Africa's fractured political landscape. McKenzie himself acknowledged his own complicated history. I've been part of the problem. I've seen it from the inside, but now I'm choosing to be the solution, he told the stunned journalists, his words echoing across television screens and radio broadcasts nationwide within minutes. Social media was ablaze. Hashtags like #McKenzie Files, #Gayton Unchained, and #Cleanup worship outsurging lists. Videos of his declaration spread like wildfire, shared in group chats, community forums, and international news feeds. Some users were in denial, others disbelieving, but most were guarded optimism. If he indeed has names and documents, then let him produce them. We are fed up with lies, wrote one South African on Twitter. Another tweeted, "This is the bravado we've been expecting. Bring them out." Opposition parties rushed to react, each attempting to tread carefully. The ANC predictably set to discrediting him right away. A midnight press release called McKenzie's assertions desperately theatrics intended to deflect attention from his own questionable record. The statement continued to challenge his credibility, referencing his criminal history and contentious political tactics. DA's John Steenhuisen was more reserved in his response, stating, "Any serious effort at rooting out corruption is welcome, but the proof will be in the pudding. Until then, these are only claims." Julius Malema, not one for restraint, derided McKenzie outright, referring to him as a former criminal turned opportunist, pulling off another stand for attention. Even with the political repercussions, many regular South Africans weren't so ready to write him off. Throughout communities, there was a feeling that maybe McKenzie had spoken to something beyond himself, a shared desire for responsibility that had long been building. Enough political drama. If McKenzie has the courage to name names and reveal files, let him tell us. We want the truth, one citizen tweeted, reflecting the sentiment of many. Others noted that South Africans had been promised accountability time and time again, but very little had changed. The only difference now, they claimed, was that McKenzie was openly confronting leaders across the board, sparring neither allies nor enemies. During the subsequent days, further details of his plan started to come to light. McKenzie said he would travel to all the provinces in what he had dubbed the People's Cleanup Campaign. He would hold rallies, town hall meetings, and open forums where regular folks could air grievances and present evidence of corruption at the national and municipal levels. His approach seemed to transcend revealing files. It was about building a grassroots movement that could generate historic pressure on politicians. Pouring further fire on the flames, McKenzie made a brazen demand. He demanded that at least 5 top politicians be arrested in the next 90 days. The request was breathtaking in its temerity, and it set law enforcement agencies straight away under intense scrutiny. Pundits noted that the National Prosecuting Authority would be compelled to act in some way, even if only to recognize the allegations. He's basically challenging the system to show it's not corrupt, one commentator said. And that's a very dangerous but very potent strategy. Journalists and analysts argued about the implications of his action as tensions escalated. Others said that McKenzie's history would always catch up with him and he would never be able to be believed by the public and international organizations. Others argued that his very history placed him best to overcome corruption. He knew the system from within, including its very darkest corners. Global media outlets also took up the story, casting it as another installment in South Africa's prolonged fight against corruption and mismanagement. In his closing statement at the Johannesburg briefing, McKenzie delivered words that resonated far beyond the walls of the press room. To those who thought I'd keep quiet because I've eaten at your table, brace yourselves. I'm coming with receipts. It was a chilling warning, one that left both allies and adversaries unsettled. For the time being, South Africa waits. Will McKenzie actually produce the evidence he says he possesses? Will the documents topple top politicians and redefine the country's future? Or will this, like so many prior sensationalist declarations, fall into the shadows of South Africa's volatile political past? What is certain is that the announcement has already changed the debate. For common South Africans, tired of corruption and failed promises, McKenzie's words have reignited a spark of hope as well as suspicion. For politicians, it has brought a new source of stress and uncertainty. And for McKenzie himself, it is the start of either his most enduring legacy or his most epic downfall. While the country is grappling with this turn of events, one thing is certain. Politics in South Africa can never be the same again.